This is going to be a story time. So it's going to be wild, unstructured, and just let me go in on the topic of quality, perception, self-value, and making a decision. So this video was inspired by a message that I got yesterday from one of my friends, and she gave me this suggestion. So I am a coach. I have invested more than 100,000 euros into my personal development, and I've worked with the best of the best on this planet, in my opinion. But you can also look them up. And then she made a suggestion for me to work with the city or something like that, where people would have access to me through paid, like they would get like, how do you, I don't know how to say it in English, but they would get money from the state so they could pay to coach with me. I'm not interested in that. And I had to politely tell that to my friend, and I'm going to share that with you too. I am not a charity person. Like my work is not charity. My work is not social work. My work is not emergency work. No, there are things like that and they're important, right? It is definitely important to have an emergency hotline for mental health. It's important to have emergency hotlines for suicidal thoughts or things like that, or working with people who are unemployed. It's important to have those things, but I am not positioned there. And I don't even want to say that with a level of arrogance, but yet a little bit still, yeah. That's not my positioning. Like that is not what I do. That is not the quality of work that I am able to deliver. Sure, could I help them? Yeah, probably. But that's not where I see myself. I want to be very clear with us here today, right? Like I am a girl, a woman who has dreamed big since I can remember. So I have achieved everything that I always wanted in terms of goals, like real life, achievable, measurable goals. So I went to study international business and culture. I got my degree. I got a corporate job. I quickly realized that's not fulfilling. I need to do something else. I became like a holistic nutritionist. Okay, got that. I'm not here to brag about myself, but I just want to let you know. And maybe that's also something. Sometimes I think it's even good to hear someone else brag about themselves. I love that. I love this kind of content myself because it just gives me the natural, like this. Yeah, I mean, hello, we need a space too. Okay, we need that space too. And that's exactly what I created with the high-end Empress Club. We need a space too. Like there aren't only survival mode problems. Like people who have achieved certain things, they have problems too, in a sense of they want to grow. Like I want to grow. So when I was done with my corporate job and then my holistic nutrition training, I knew I wasn't done. I didn't know exactly what I needed, but probably then I needed a business strategy, but I continued on with coaching and I loved it and I don't regret it. So I had my first real coaching experience with the Life Mastery Institute back then. And I signed up for the coaching program. After that, they asked me if I could see myself becoming a coach. I said, yes, that's a 100% full body, hell yes. I enrolled in it. I paid 12,000 euro, and I'm going to be very transparent about that. I don't hear too many other people being so transparent about that. I don't know why, but I'm going to be as transparent as I can. It's not to brag, but for some people, that's nothing even, like for me, there was something. So for some people, that's a lot. For some people, that's nothing. That's why I'm going to share those numbers because they're just numbers. Okay. So I invested that kind of money into myself. So even that, like, I am not going, and that was only the first training, like, that was far from the end. I invested 12,000 euros into my coaching certification. I am not planning to work with people who are not going to reach in their pocket to pay for their own. education, transformation, and growth. It just doesn't appeal to me because I am so tired and like done, and I distance myself from complaining and victimhood mindset. I would say that I am a Black woman in a predominantly white world, and I have also received the messagings of power and privilege and who actually has power and privilege. And it's not necessarily me. But then I realized, no, I am privileged. I am very privileged in my own right. And I have always felt very privileged in my soul. And that's what I'm talking to you about, right? I've always been very privileged in my soul because I always had the dream. I always had the spark. I always knew, like, okay, I'm going to set my eyes on this. I'm going to reach that. I'm going to reach that. And up until now, like, without fail. So I am going to reach all the goals that I set for myself. And not in a way of like having to prove myself to anybody. No, I've done that with the study and then that's it. Okay. The rest of the path was me. I wanted to do it. But what I want to come back to is that I hope that this resonates as well, like with you, because I do believe that so many people, especially coaches, they get lost in this voluntary work or charity work or a social work, emergency work, um, all of that. No, I'm not interested. I'm really not interested because one part of having a business is choosing your ideal client and the market that you want to target, right? So I want to be excited about my client too. And my client is as ambitious as me. Like I am talking to my younger self, right? I am talking to my younger self and I want to share all of the knowledge and all of the experience that I have gathered up until now to somebody equally ambitious, open to learn, willing to expand, and to execute as me. It is not fun to work with somebody who will not really do the work or who is not as excited or all of that, right? No, like it took some time to stand for that, right? It is not about being perfect, but it's about having this inner sense of that's who I am and that's where I belong, right? I am not going to inherit the things that you put on me. I'm not going to wear your old clothes. I am not going to, like, I am going to reject whatever you think that I'm capable of. No, like, I have the receipts, right? I have the receipts of being brilliant at what I do. I have the receipts of paying or investing that amount of money and making that amount of money back. I have the receipts of building my own online platform. I have the receipts of creating YouTube videos. Like I'm still in the building phase and that's okay. But I have the receipts, that I have the receipts of continuing to be in my best shape. I have the receipts of continuing to look young, right? I have the receipts of being vibrantly alive. My dad died. I'm gonna pack, like, I'm really, like, I just want to say that all of the things that I've learned, I know that it can make somebody, like the person that I'm working with, the person that is as inspired as me, as hopeful and knows that there is more for them. That's the kind of person that I want. I'm not trying to pull people out of the darkest place. I can do that too. But I really more at this point of my life, I really more want to talk to people who are on their way to 100K to their first million. That is the kind of client that I want. That is the kind of client that I've had before. I used to work with celebrities, rappers, influencers, other social designers, and because I wasn't so clear, like I kind of lost my way, I realized, okay, many people want what I have, but I don't want to work with everybody. So it is really about owning my own standard and my own quality of work and therefore my boundaries and being like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna entertain whatever it is that you want or say or think or project onto me. I know probably, I don't know, it wasn't evil, but I felt insulted. I have to say, I felt insulted. And yeah, maybe you feel like that too. And also, like when I look around me and I see other coaches, like kind of from my community, I'm not inspired, to be honest. I am not inspired because no, this looks too much of social work. And you could think that that's what we want to do because you too come from a working class background. You too come from a migrant background. You too come from a background where many people are suffering from mental health. Honestly, if they want to get out of it, really, I mean, that sounds so blunt, but I'm going to be honest. If they want to get out of it, there is free work, like there is other emergency work. It is there, but it's not mine, right? That's not me. Like I am even like, let me continue. Like I am not even like I'm not here to save nobody. No, I'm not here to save nobody. That's what I had to learn, and I have learned it. I'm not here to save nobody. Like I am going to help those who are willing to do the work. I am going to help those who are willing to pay the price because everything in this world has a price. If you're willing to grow and you're paying the price in monetary sense, in a more monetary sense, you're going to get a great result if you work with somebody who's integrous, right? Like that's definitely what I want to claim here as well. Like you have morals, you have integrity, and you have a great work ethic. That's what I do. Like I love my clients. I love my clients, and I want to spoil my clients. I really want to spoil my clients. I want to love them. I want to spoil them. I want to help them grow. I'm going to give them some tough love and some soft love, all of that. I am that person. But at the same time, if you're not willing to pay the price, you will have to pay the price in a different way. That means you're going to continue to, I'm just going to be very, like, very, I don't know the word in English, like placative, like very blunt. You're going to pay the price of staying at the bottom. If you continuously associate yourself with the victim, if you continue to see yourself as a migrant or a working class and a victim child, and everybody is suffering, my whole community is suffering, you're addicted to suffering. That's basically it. No, I don't want no part in that. Sorry, no. Like I have done all the work to get myself out of it, and I do it every day, right? You gotta stay on the abundance frequency every day. And some days it's harder, some days it's easier. But I am applying the tools myself every day. So I am not here to jump back into the wild sea and rescuing somebody. No, no. I am here offering, I am offering the life raft, but you will have to pay the price, right? You will have to pay the price just as I paid the price and just as all of the other mentors that I have worked with, they too have paid their price. And the price is not only money, but everything that comes with that money, like the focus, the emotional labor, the endurance, the consistency, the scrutiny, like you don't even know what it takes to be an entrepreneur or a spiritual entrepreneur or somebody like me who works in, like I see myself as all of those things also on a very practical level, but even like the mindset, like just having the mindset that I have, being so sensitive about other people's projections, like you have to endure all that work in order to bring that to your client. And that is part of the price that they pay. Again, as I said, I paid that price and my mentors paid that price and their mentors paid that price too, because it is the currency. It is the currency of this planet is value for value. Yeah. So what I really want to say here is that I believe that many, and that's my message, like in the past few days, like I believe that many like spiritual entrepreneurs or creatives, artists, um, anything along those lines, I think many of us, we undervalue ourselves because the community doesn't reflect back to you what you feel inside. So we have all heard that before, but it's important to distance yourself from the old community and to really know deep, not only deep down, like have it very present, right? Have it very present within you that you know what it took you to get here, right? You know what it took you, the time, as I said, the emotions, the tears, the like all of the challenges life has and offer, life will bring them to you. Like if you're set out on the journey to live your dreams. mm, and there has to be a reward, and the reward is the money, right? Like that's the energy, because again, it's an energy exchange, and it is also you being able to bring all of the quality that you have to bring into your work, right? So I'm not here to debate on price. I'm not here to no, I'm not the cheapest. If you want to work with somebody who offers free coupons, that's amazing. But working with someone else, a human being, that does real deep work, and I do real deep work, right? I help you to craft and find out your soul purpose, and then to mold and shape it into a system, a proven, repeatable, reliable system that can make you hundreds and hundreds of thousands and beyond, right? Because how do I know it? It has worked for other people before. Yeah. So that's what I can say. And one of the biggest things here is having a boundaries to people that don't support you like that. And and I say that it's so important to really be super sensitive, because we all know it, and I think that that's something that we have to admit to ourselves as well, is that sometimes, especially if you have a dream, like your dream, this little seedling inside of you is so fragile, so fragile. Today, I actually really feel like that seedling coming like out into the light on a different level. But that seedling is so, so fragile, and sometimes just the way somebody looks, right? Like, you know, the way somebody looks, or the way somebody just acts, or their tone of voice changes, or whatever it is, you can feel it. And that can all already kind of like punch you in the gut, right? And being like doubting yourself again, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Like, am I willing or able? Am I that person? Is my quality that high? Am I talented enough? Am I cut out for this? Like all of the questions that we ask ourselves. But that's why, again, there is such a huge value to be in a community of like-spirited people. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking for a community, come over into the high-end Empress Club. Yeah. And like be around people that are on a similar path. I call them partners in believing, who will speak life into you, right? And it's not only you being the only one speaking life into yourself, even though that's very important. But I'm not here, like this is also something that I hear on the internet a lot, just the perspective of the darkness, kind of like, okay, you're this light being, right? Like you're the one with the great idea, you're the entrepreneur, you're the spiritual one, and nobody else gets you. That's false. Like that's really false. You're probably still in the wrong space. Like you're probably still immersed in life too deep, and that's okay. But I'm really speaking about you and me, and I want to say that you, the one I'm speaking to here, you are right at the brink, right? You've understood a few things already. You've understood that you have a dream. You understood. And that's what I believe, right? I know that today your dream will keep you alive. Your dream will keep you alive. And I mean that exactly the way I say it. It's going to keep you alive. If you don't keep your dream alive, you're going to die slowly. That's how much of the price it is to walk that walk. I hope that's clear, right? That's really the talk. If you don't follow your dream, if you don't follow that nudge, if you don't follow that, that's what I have to do, or at least I have to discover what my purpose is or what I have to do, and then discover all the modalities, right? Personal development, personality tests, or the gene keys, or human design, or like the Enneagram. Like there are so many different things on how to identify spirituality, or your purpose, like astrology as well, numerology. There's so many beautiful systems for you to find out what you're made of, right? My favorite one currently is definitely the gene keys. It took time. It took time to find all these things and then to integrate them and continue to live by them, right? So I just want to let you know that don't give up. Don't give up, don't give up. And most importantly, know your value. Know your value, keep your value. And sure, it is important to continue to work on yourself. Absolutely. But also know when you have arrived at a certain point. Know when you have arrived at a certain point where you feel like now I really got the foundation laid, right? I got the foundation laid, and I got the foundation laid. Like again, I'm going to say it, like I have created something that I know that is bulletproof, 100% bulletproof. I'm so confident in that. And that's why I know I can confidently invite you into the space if you feel like you want to be around like-minded individuals who are on their way to 100K and beyond, to their million, and you want to create from an authentic, heart-centered space, but also you want to be a professional, right? That's very important. I just saw one interview, and that's true. I think that's something that many artists or creatives get wrong. You can be authentic, but you also have to be a professional, right? So it's not about just doing whatever you want, but it's actually committing to the process, right? Committing to the process. And I hold myself accountable here as well. And that's what I believe. That is exactly why we need accountability, and why that's for me also the only reason to give up this solo journey, to give up the lone wolf, the introvert, the hermit, all of that. I'm not really an introvert, no. I think, I don't know. I mean, no, no. I was just thinking, like, do introverts speak too much so much on YouTube? Yeah, maybe. But what one thing, I am an entrepreneur, and I believe that many entrepreneurs, they're very resourceful. They will try everything on their own before they can no more. And I think that's also the time when it's time to realize, okay, no, let me focus on a few things, key things that are important, that are moving the needle. And I need accountability, because I always like to say, we human beings, I'm very good at studying human nature. Like that's part of my expertise. I'm continuing to learn, but I would already say I'm very good on understanding evolutionary science and evolutionary history. And that basically means understanding that we are part human, or that we are part animal, that we have those animal instincts, and that we are part like our higher mental faculties. And one thing here is that the human nature, or more the animal nature, will take over many times if you don't continue to cultivate the higher self, the mind, the discipline, and all of that. And I believe the easiest way, and it's not even my belief, like I could quote so many things, but that's not my style of promoting the videos here. But I've read so many books, and maybe I want that. If you want that, I can do that. But I've read so many books, and I know that one key component of success is to have accountability partners, not depending on your own willpower, right? Not being the lone wolf. No, you will not get really far being the lone wolf. You need other people, especially for you to hold, like, let them hold you accountable so you can keep on your path. That's also something I spoke with my coach yesterday. Like, he's helping me to refine the business plan. And I spoke with him because that's also something that I heard before from another coach, is that more men are able to receive coaching than women. Most women are not really good at receiving coaching because women are like, there's not a culture of this accountability. Like, women don't like to be held accountable, which I could resonate with. And at the same time, knowing that, I mean, I have sought out coaches for a long time now. And I also realized that it came from me being athletic. I grew up taking like classes, having dance teachers who are coaches as well, right? Having a karate coach. And I always actually love to perform, right? To plan something and then to also get the feedback. Like, you have to do this better, right? If you want to create this great performance, you have to be willing to adjust a few things about your doing, right? That is coaching, basically. That's it. Like, I think we shouldn't emotionalize it too much. Sometimes it can be very painful to address something that you have never seen before in yourself, which is called the blind spots. But that's exactly why you are hiring a coach. Like, you're doing it for you, right? You're doing it for you. Having a coach is hiring a personal advisor for your life that can look onto your life or look onto your business and say, okay, what is it that you actually want to create? Okay, I see this, and this has to change. Either erase it, change it, evolve it. And yeah, it can be quite uncomfortable. But if you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to actually be seen, I'm actually to be naked, I'm actually to be corrected. That's basically it. I'm ready to be corrected because there are a few things I don't see. And it's always good to have somebody looking on you with a trained and with a higher perspective and with expertise and knowledge on what it is that you want to create. That's the smartest thing you can do, right? So yeah, coaching has been for a long time, has been a very elite thing. And that's also how I want to kind of round this up. For me, coaching, that's not coaching, to be honest, like just helping somebody to get their materials right or whatever. I don't know. That's not really coaching for me. Coaching is really for me, and that's my style of coaching. That's my expectation. That's the standard of my work. That's where I myself see myself. I have, as I said, received like the best teachings on the planet. I stand 10 toes down for that. And I am not going to help somebody get through the first grade. That's a great example, right? I'm not a coach for a first grader. That's cool. That's also necessary, right? That's also cool. That's necessary, but that's not me. And I'm also not a coach for someone who is doing their college degree. No, that's also not what I do. I don't do that. I help women or men, feminine, right? I help entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs, and people who want to create a side hustle next to their corporate job. I help them to get their business going, to have the idea, have the system that works, a proven, repeatable, reliable system that works, create the system around it, and get to their first 100K. Yay. That's where I am. And even beyond that, that's the kind of teacher that I am. And that's it. I think that's really what I wanted to say, is that You have to know where you belong. You yourself have to find out in which league are you playing, right? And I think especially for the good-hearted, as I said, the good-hearted, beautiful people here, I think many times we want to save everybody, but it is also a business and it will also be very beautiful when you focus. When you focus and it's a representation of who you are. It is a representation of who you are. Again, as I said, having an ideal client means you also want to be excited working with them. They got to be willing and able to pay. That is part of being an ideal client. They are able to honor your work and afford your work, afford and honor your work. I think I like that even more than willing and able to pay, honor, and afford your work. Yeah. From a very grounded perspective, knowing where you are, right? Some people are one grade teachers, and that's okay. Everything is okay. I don't want to speak from a level of judgment, but I just want to speak up for myself. And I hope that helped you too to realize, nah, I got to be honest with myself. And the thing here is that most of the time we don't do that because we are afraid. We are afraid that we lose people, and we will. And that's good, right? That we lose people, that people are going to be like, who does she think she is? Nah, we're no longer concerned about that. But I want you to stay true to yourself, right? To stay true to yourself. And also, one thing, and that's the last thing really I'm going to say, is that, for example, for me, I'm just sharing my mind with you, yeah? So I know what I have in the back, right? I know the curriculums, I have the systems, as I said, all of that, right? And I know also I am the face. I am the face of it. I am the one. But one thing that I also had to realize is that in order to be consistent, as I said, authenticity versus consistency, I also allow myself to go for first in front, also with this video and also the way like I look. That is both for me, right? And I just want to give you that. Being raw and authentic, but also showing up regularly so you can count on me. For me, it's both authentic and professional. Professional doesn't always mean that you need to look put together. Like, of course, that's important. Somehow it has to look cohesive depending on the target group and all of that. Yes. And also, imagine a baker or someone else, like somebody who is highly skilled, maybe even a doctor. We do not expect from them if they're if they're working hard labor or they're performing some duties that they look perfect all the time. And maybe that's also something that I just want to share that with you. You don't have to look, if you're coming online all the time, you don't have to look perfect. It's not about perfection. It's about, of course, kind of looking like you are not, mm, that you didn't lose the full control of your life, right? But also, it's okay. You're a human. You are a human. And yeah, this notion of perfection and looking perfect all the time, that is not necessarily professional. Yeah, right? So being having no makeup on as a woman, that's professional too, right? That's okay. I just wanted to say that. I've been saying that in many of my videos, but also just to give nuance, to the conversation. Being expensive doesn't mean that you have to be perfect all the time, but you know that your work, because it follows a proven, repeatable, reliable system and framework that creates results. Doesn't mean that you have to show up perfect all the time, right? You're a human, and being authentic and showing up consistently is good enough. With some value to share and with some insight and with some valuable knowledge, hopefully, for your clients, your customers, your audience. Okay, so that's it with my rant, and I would love to hear from you. If you actually watched this video until here, I appreciate you. Just like this one guy says, like, I'm gonna record this, but I hope nobody's listening. Yeah, and if you're listening, cool, I'm happy. But I think, yeah, we'll just continue sharing those things. Okay, so I would like to hear from you, especially your challenges with finding the right price point. Yeah. So that's it for now. And until then, stay dangerous.